Okay, for today's video, we're going over the Safari Ltd Yutyrannus. I'm actually kind of glad that this review got put off all the way until December, because as far as like winter or Christmas or like snow dinosaurs, Yutyrannus is definitely one of the first ones that comes to mind. And with this video, I've actually got to do a couple of videos that fit like the winter or Christmas theme already with the Prehistoric Mammal Lot. The upcoming dinosaur drawings of the month will definitely have some winter, Christmassy themed drawings. And just some upcoming videos. I'll obviously get some figures for Christmas, so we'll have like that whole video. So I've definitely got to do a few videos that kind of fit the wintry theme, and I think it works out pretty good. And one thing I will say for the upcoming Christmas videos, I can definitely guarantee that there will be some beasts in the Mesozoic. I've already kind of mentioned it, so it's not like a big update, but I do think, since a lot of people like beasts in the Mesozoic, I'm glad that I will get to show off some more beasts in the Mesozoic figures. And this was a figure I knew I really wanted whenever I made that Safari order. This was probably like the second most anticipated figure in that order behind the Albertosaurus. And if it wasn't for me just being such a big Albertosaurus fan, this probably would have been my favorite figure that I ordered in that lot. But since I'm such a big Albertosaurus fan, it was second, but only to the Albertosaurus. Because I thought it looked great and just really wanted to get it for a while. And out of the figures I got, including the Tyrannosaurus, I mainly got it for the controversial cases video, which I still haven't made yet, but we'll make it at some point. And the other two, which I actually prefer this figure to the other two figures that I got, but I kind of prefer those dinosaurs, that being the Dinosaurus and the Chansusaurus. Those two actually made my top 10 favorite theropods, while this one made an honorable mention, but I do prefer this mold or sculpt or figure itself more than those two figures. And I'll put a link to that video in all these individual reviews, but I definitely like this one a lot. And I will say, talking more about that top 10 favorite theropods video, at the time, Yutyrannus made an honorable mention, but if that video came out right now, Yutyrannus would probably be in that top 10. So maybe I'll make that video again in the future, because Yutyrannus probably would sneak in that top 10 by now. And I will, almost anytime I say mention a video, I'll put a link to it. But yeah, I will put a link to the top 10 favorite theropods video. And like I said, it was an honorable mention at the time, but I think it would be it would crack the top 10 by now. And now we're going to just get into some information about the dinosaur. So, like as far as classification, the formation it lived in, as well as like the really cool feather information about Yutyrannus and the role in its environment. And Yutyrannus is considered a Protoceratosauridae member by most paleontologists, making it closer related to theropods like Guanlong. And Protoceratosauridae is a group of Tyrannosauridae, making Yutyrannus related to theropods like Albertosaurus and the king of the dinosaurs, the one that anytime you mention a theropod, specifically Tyrannosaurus, is almost always going to get mentioned, Tyrannosaurus rex. And Yutyrannus did live in the early Cretaceous China, in the, I might mispronounce this, but the Yixian formation, with a variety of dinosaurs, including other tyrannosaurs, it lived in that formation with with a lot of other dinosaurs, including another tyrannosauroid, D-Long, as well as a therizinosaur, Baiaposaurus, also a dromaeosaur, Sinornithosaurus, and it also lived with the early ceratopsian Psittacosaurus, along with a lot of other dinosaurs, including sauropods, making this a very rich and diverse formation where Yutyrannus would most likely be the apex predator. However, there is a slight issue with this because we're not 100% sure this is the formation, because Yutyrannus, all the fossils that have been found so far have been fossil poached or however it is, so we're not 100% sure it was in this formation, but this is what we believe the formation and time it was from. And Yutyrannus is, or at least once was, the largest carnivorous theropod dinosaur that has direct fossil evidence of feathers, with the largest discovered Yutyrannus being around 9 meters or 30 feet. So now we'll go over the figure itself. I actually love how this figure looks, especially the crest. I love the just like the nasal, like the bump right on the top of the skull, and the actual little horns. I love all those little details, and the colors I think are super plausible. You know, being this white, and really the only like scaly parts being the actual head and the hands and the feet. I think that looks really good. There's no major inaccuracies I can see. And like I said, the colors are very plausible. Definitely a great figure. Has actually been out for a good bit now. I think it came out somewhere mid 2010s, and since it's not been retired yet, it must be a pretty popular figure, which makes a ton of sense. You know, it looks awesome. I can definitely see why Safari continues to make this figure, and hopefully continues to make it for a while, because it's such an awesome figure. Definitely recommend picking it up. And I definitely think it's the best Yutyrannus out for the price, in my opinion. The only other Yutyrannus figures I can really think of, Rebor had one, but Rebor, their older figures just kind of get really hard to get, and I think it's one of the worst Yutyrannus figures out, in all honesty. PNSO has one that I think is actually really good, but it's a lot more expensive than this one, and it's around the same size. So as far as for the price, I definitely think this is a better figure. And there might be one more that I can't think of off the top of my head, but those are the main three that I can think of that are currently out. Oh, Beast of the Mesozoic is coming out with one. And what's cool about the PNSO, Beast of the Mesozoic, they're all three very different colors. The Beast of the Mesozoic is primarily black. The PNSO one's primarily like an orangey red, like a red fox. And this one's primarily white. And all three are such different color schemes, but they're honestly, I think, all three pretty plausible color schemes. And as far as documentaries Yutyrannus has been featured in, I'm actually not aware of any documentaries it's been featured in. So if anyone is aware of any, I would love to know, so I can watch it. But yeah, as far as I know, I can't think of any Yutyrannus documentaries. We'll kind of just get some like different views of this figure. I definitely think it's a great looking figure. And in conclusion, I think it's an awesome figure, and I would definitely recommend getting it. This was a figure I always liked, and getting it in hand, it definitely lived up to the expectations. And there will definitely be a lot of upcoming individual reviews. I've tried to do the main 5 from this lot. But there's been a few individual figure reviews that have like kind of jumped in between, like that Carnegie Collection Corythosaurus video. But now that this one's done, there are a lot more individual figure reviews that I need to do that I haven't gotten to review yet. And also all the ones that I'll be getting for Christmas. But I will do a poll for the next upcoming review, which will be the next one unless something comes up. Two that I can definitely think will be on that poll will be the Safari Ltd Yutyrannus, which has kind of gotten outdated, which I think would actually be fun to talk about. And then the Safari Ltd Field Museum Torosaurus. Those are two that I could definitely do in the next poll. And I will put a link up to this figure. It is still available on Safari's website, and the last I looked, it actually was in stock, so I would definitely recommend picking it up. And we'll go over the featured figures. So obviously this is the Safari Ltd Yutyrannus. This is the Safari Ltd Feathered T-Rex. This is one I actually got in a lot, and that's why the condition isn't that great. That's why the toe claws, it's kind of got warped. It's got a lot of whitening on parts. Definitely a little bit worse condition than I would have liked, but it wasn't the main reason I got that lot, so I was completely fine with it just getting thrown in there. Then the Safari Ltd Albertosaurus. Then the Safari Ltd Guanlong. I'm honestly not for sure if this figure is still in production or it's been retired or what, but I definitely like that figure a lot. So, as you can see, Safari actually has made a lot of tyrannosaurs, and these are all just in the regular line, not in the Carnegie line. And then the other 4 figures were all in the Safari Ltd Feathered Dinosaurs tube, including the Psittacosaurus, which should have a tail fan of like quills. I'm not for sure actually if they're quills, but like the tail fan. The Sinornithosaurus, the D-Long, and the Baiaposaurus. Honestly, in that feathered dinosaurs tube that these four all come in, I'm shocked that the Yutyrannus figure wasn't made in it. And that tube might have came out right before the Yutyrannus was discovered or was already in the process of being made. But if this tube did come out after that, I'm shocked that they didn't put the Yutyrannus in it. But I think that tube actually came out before the Yutyrannus came out. But I'm not 100% sure because I'd be shocked if they didn't make a tube version of the Yutyrannus for that tube if the tube didn't come out before. But, and I'm also talking about the tube figures. These two were in that Zuniceratops video, but I had to use them as stand-ins for Tyrannus and Northorhynchus. So I'm glad they actually got to play their actual role in this video. But yeah, I think that's it for this video, so thank you all so much for watching. I think this is an awesome figure, and I would definitely recommend picking it up if you don't already own it.